Well, hey kids, welcome back to another episode of the Park Streamers Hangout. And tonight, not only do we have some of your regular hosts here with you, we have some special guests, guys that I have known for quite some time now. They actually are the ones who put the YouTube bug in my ear and got me into this whole crazy thing that I'm doing now here at Theme Park Casual. We have OG55, Mr. Orange Grove 55, and George the Italiano from Citrus Corner, also on the OG55 channel. So welcome in, everybody. We're going to get started here, but first, I want to have all the panel let us know where you can find them on social media. So OG, you're one of our guests. Please, would you start?
Yeah. Thank you for having us on. It's gonna be fun talking parks with everybody. You can find us. You can find myself and this guy, the Italiano, on Orange Grove 55 on YouTube. You can find me on Twitter X at Orange Grove 55, where you'll find me arguing with people about the parks. You can also find me on Instagram now. I'm kind of new to Instagram. I'm not on there as much, but I am on there. Orange Grove 55.
All right, thank you. And George, would you let everybody know where they can find you on social media?
Absolutely. You could find me on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Disney George. You could also now find me on Instagram under the Disney Italiano. And of course, you'll find me on Orange Grove 55 with Citrus Corner, with all that sweet, juicy, but sometimes sticky Disney news and info, where we basically cover everything of Disney east of the Mississippi River, of Walt Disney World, Disney Cruise Line, you name it.
Awesome. Thank you, sir. And by the way, all of their information is going to be below. If you're on the Theme Park Casual channel, it's below in the description. If not, take a look on Theme Park Casual channel's chat. I've got their links in there as well. We're going to get them added to everybody's descriptions right after the show. But we also have Cordy in California with us. So Cordy, would you let everybody know where they can find you?
Hello, everyone. You can find me in the parks. No, actually you can. But Cordy in California on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. I don't know the last time I tweeted. So, and I always forget my handle. So you'll find me there. And Threads, I think I have one post. So we'll stick to
awesome. Awesome. And yes, you can always find Cordy almost every day at the parks. Very, very much a late night streamer. So if you're up late and can't fall asleep, by all means, check out Cordy. She's probably at the parks on the sweeper train, on her way over to Raising Cane's or something. All right. And last but not least, we have our good friend, Berry Place 28. Bob, let everybody know where they can find you.
Hey, welcome everyone. So you can find me on YouTube, X, Instagram, and on TikTok at BerryPlace28. And
awesome.
Last but not least is you. So Theme Park Casual.
Oh, yes. Theme Park Casual. You can find me on YouTube, Twitter, X, and Instagram, all of them at Theme Park Casual. Okay, now that the formalities are out of the way, we've got a huge show lined up for you guys. We've got plenty to talk about, but we're going to start with one of the big things that just happened at Disneyland this weekend, which is the Candlelight Processional. And me, Bob, and Cordy all got to experience it yesterday, right? Cordy, you were there yesterday?
Yes.
So let me start with you, Cordy. What did you think? Have you seen it before? Have you been in the parks for it? What were your thoughts on it this year?
Yeah, so I just started going since the parks opened back up. A lot of the entertainment and things, like we should just ride rides all the time. So we never would, sit to watch these things. But the first year I went, and it's beautiful. Like every time I've gone, it's absolutely just amazing. So, that time was a really good experience. It was a little less people in the park. So, getting that time I actually got a seat. So that was kind of nice. And then I did go last year as well. I think I went both nights and watched it. Last year was kind of nice because I was able to get in the standby line for the second show. And while you're waiting, of course, you get to enjoy the sounds of, the choir. So that's kind of nice. You're standing in line, but you still get to enjoy the show because you're right there on Main Street. And then last night I opted for the second show. I was people that were on my live, I just like kept circling, trying to, find where can I get in for the second show. And then found a way in and actually got a seat again. So it was very cool. Last night was very cool as well.
You actually got a yeah, I was going to say, you actually got a seat, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm sorry. Who do you know that I don't know that I can sit down? What?
I'm actually very surprised. I got to be honest. I'm really surprised that they still do the Candlelight Processional because it's a very religious kind of experience. I'm just shocked they stuck with it. I really am. It's surprising. And this year in particular was kind of funny because it's like Bob Iger, right? He's trying to like kind of, I don't know. He's had a lot of issues, lately with everything. He's making the news for all the wrong reasons. And the guest for this year's Candlelight Processional is Brie Larson, who's like a total lightning rod, right?
Yeah,
and it's like I think it's hilarious because it's like, oh my gosh, he's trying to stay low. He's got enough headlines, and then you got Brie Larson. But what I heard she did a great job though. So,
have you ever been to the? I'm sorry. Go ahead. What was that, Bob?
I'm saying, is that what you heard, OG?
Yeah, I know. I was going to say, we'll get to that in a minute, but have you ever been to the Candlelight Procession? OG?
I've never done it. No, not personally. Yeah.
Okay. George, how about you? Have you ever, I don't think I think we were talking, you said you've never been out for Christmas at Disneyland.
No, I never have been out to Disneyland during the holidays, so I've never done the Candlelight Processional at Disneyland. I actually didn't know that they did it at Disneyland. I thought that was actually just an Epcot thing. Which I have been to the one at Epcot. It had to be like over 10 years ago, where it was Whoopi Goldberg was the narrator at the time when I was there. And yes, I did have a seat.
Yeah, Epcot they do it in the theater, so it's a little different. Yeah. Cordy, did you? Well, actually, hang on, Bob. What were your thoughts of it from this year? You got to go last night.
Right. So I've seen it before, and I think it's a magical moment, I think, at Disneyland. I mean, because it's something that's Disney started, and then really it didn't start off as a processional until 1960 when he kind of did the Olympics, Winter Olympics, event as well. And so that's how they kind of came up with this whole processional thing. I think it's always beautiful. And I got to tell you, even though we had a hard time seeing, because unfortunately, people started jostling and moving around. Next thing you know, we had a 6-foot tall guy in front of me in Theme Park Casual, and we weren't able to see very well. And even though we couldn't see Brie Larson that much, just listening to the choir, amazing. I mean, they are top notch. The bells, the trumpets, everything that they do is just amazing. I could, seriously, I could take a recording of that and play it in my car and enjoy it. I think it was that great. The things about, Brie Larson, obviously, and I know we're going to talk about this in a little more detail. Yeah, she was a little flat. She wasn't really getting into it like Viola Davis or some of the past celebrities have done. They have done some amazing jobs, but she was kind of just reading through it and talking about it. She talked about how emotional she got at the end of it and how, she was really happy to be a part of this. But to me, she didn't seem very emotional. She didn't seem to be really getting into it. She just kind of just read it. And that
basically her career.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think, Cordy, you have some clips of Brie Larson.
Oh, we're having an earthquake.
Oh, we are live.
Whoa.
Earthquake live.
Live earthquake on Parks.
Okay, wait, that means that I might be feeling it in a little bit. How strong was it? Was it pretty?
It was 2 jolts.
Okay, it's okay, babe. It's okay.
Yeah, there was
Sorry.
one, and I thought maybe
My daughter's upside. Give me 1 second, guys.
Yeah. I didn't feel it.
Okay, who felt it out there?
Yeah.
Screaming faces. Did you guys feel it?
Yeah. Okay. If you felt the earthquake, put a screaming face in the chat, please.
With no Santa hat. Screaming face with no Santa hat.
Yeah. No happy screaming.
And we know you're serious.
All right. Interesting. Okay. So we've. Oh man, could you imagine if that would have happened during the Candlelight Procession?
Oh Lord, no.
Oh jeez.
They're singing Hallelujah chorus, and all of a sudden everything starts shaking.
Yeah,
It's just like,
cheers.
oh my God, wow, they're really into it tonight.
That's wild. I wonder where the epicenter is.
Let's see.
Team coverage,
Yeah.
California quake.
Kiki and Luca, Michael Ebba say they're in San Diego, so they haven't felt anything. I'm out in the IE, and I didn't feel anything.
I think it's so funny how different locations can get different. Like, you could just be like 2 feet away from somebody, and they could feel like the full thing of an earthquake, but then 2 feet away, they could feel absolutely nothing.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we got Theme Park Wizard in the chat, and actually, I live pretty close to Theme Park Wizard, like 10 minutes, maybe 10 minutes, and he didn't feel it. So I don't know.
Oh.
I didn't feel anything.
It was just down here probably then, but it was enough to jolt in my daughter. Thanks for letting me break away there. Ariel got a little upset, so she's fine now.
Yeah, earthquakes can be kind of freaky.
Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely.
Absolutely.
Casual, you were out here for the 94 quake, right?
Yeah, I've been out here since 77. So yeah,
that was a big boy. I actually lived out there in Northridge when that one hit. That was crazy, man.
I can imagine.
Yeah, that one was something. That one was something. You were probably way closer to it than I was. I was still out.
I was like
here
sitting
in
on
the
top
IE,
of it.
So, yeah.
So speaking of earthquakes, going back to Brie Larson. Oh, that wasn't.
Hey.
Sorry.
All right. Yeah. No. Let's check out some of the clips that you have, Cordy, so we can kind of discuss.
I said I knew how to do this. Let's see if I really know how. Okay. I'm just gonna do screen share. Okay.
Looks like initial reports are 3.5 in Fullerton.
Okay.
Yep. That's why you probably didn't feel it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Here
Good distance from me.
Let's share. Hold on. Oh, well, actually, how do I go
I'm
back?
adding to the stage. Here we go.
Let me go back. Oops.
Oh.
Sorry.
No problem.
Because I saw they were all listed. I'm like, oh, I can just like click on the. Where are you?
George, you actually witnessed me. Like, remember we were going to go live? Not live. We were going to record, and before we hit record, we had a quake. Remember that?
Yeah, I just saw your whole your shelves just sort of kind of just like shift from one side to the other. It was just like,
and that was
you were like, oh, I think I just had a quake.
I felt that one. That was a good one. That was a good size one.
All right, you want to hit play?
I just thought this was beautiful, like when they're coming in. Mm-hmm. They're just little clips, so we're not watching the whole thing unless you want to. But so pretty good. I didn't want to zoom in too much. It's like you want to zoom in, but then you're like, it's I thought it was pretty amazing how you looked at what the stage looks like, and then they're on. How do I mention another time?
So I will say real quick. Oh, cute. So Cordy's showing the beginning part where everyone's walking into the processional, and I think it's kind of amazing because they actually come down Main Street with the candles in hand, and the choir, walks past everyone to go up on stage. And to me, that is magical in itself. It's just really, really cool to see that happening. And then to hear all the voices, I mean, seriously, it is amazing and magical.
Well, and I could definitely tell just by seeing that little clip right there. What I love what Disneyland does is because of the lack of amount of space that they have to utilize everything that they have. But it kind of works to their benefit because I love how they just incorporate an everyday section that you could just walk through the park and you see where the train station is and everything, and they utilize that for the Candlelight Processional, sort of like how they do with Fantasmic, where the Rivers of America just lights up at night. So I love how Disneyland gets very creative when it comes time for their entertainment to incorporate the everyday lands and then just transform it into something spectacular.
George, so where do they do it in Florida? It's Epcot, right?
It's Epcot. They have like a pavilion. It's sort of like it's not like, I forget what it's actually titled, but it's like an individual pavilion where they have like benches and everything you can actually enter in. It's like an indoor outdoor little type of
amphitheater.
The amphitheater.
Kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right.
And because of that, they're able to do it, multiple weekends and throughout the entire holiday season. Whereas Disneyland, since it's taking up the train station and it's an obstruction on Main Street, they only do it for the 2 days because they literally have everything going up the week before. So
Right.
it's kind of a inconvenience to an extent, like they have to shorten the parade route and everything. So they can't run it as many times. So at Disneyland, it becomes that much more of a fervor to get in there and see it because you only have those 2 days as an option.
And correct me if I'm wrong, that's the issue that they have with DCA with like when they have like a parade going through there, because like the short amount of time that they would have, like if they have like an event going on, they would have to reconfigure the route system, which they don't necessarily have, sort of like how they have like with Food and Wine. But in order to have a parade, if during that time, they would then have to move all those booths out of the way for the parade route.
Yeah, there's some logistics involved with, what they want to do with DCA. So yeah, when they've got their food festivals, which are a big draw for DCA, in order to have a parade, yeah, they'd have to figure out where to put some of those booths and things like that.
And that's why.
Probably, yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say that's why they should. And I've been banging on this drum for a long time. That's why we need a third park, and we need to build Westcott so we can have the Food and Wine Festival over at Westcott. Problem solved,
Yeah. So, Cordy, do you have any clips of Brie Larson when she was doing her narration?
I do. 1 second here.
Just because when it comes to the narrator, I was telling people, I was like, the narrator, the performance from the musicians and the singers and everything, it's impeccable. They are fantastic talents. But the narrator, you want a good narrator. They don't make or break the show, but they make or break the show. If that makes any sense, it's like they don't make or break the show because it's going to be fantastic. But if you get a good narrator, man, does it elevate the show that much more.
It's just
that's interesting. So she was just kind of flat, huh, Brie Larson? It was like it wasn't like she was terrible, but she didn't bring a lot of life or enthusiasm to the table. It's kind of there.
Yeah, that's how I would describe it. And it's go ahead and play if you've got it ready, Cordy.
No audio.
Yeah, I can't hear anything.
No, we can't hear it at all. She was that bad. I'm kidding.
Did he cut her mic?
Yeah.
She wasn't that bad.
Let me do it a different way. I think. Let's see. Stop.
Now,
Just make sure your
you-
audio and the video's audio's up.
now, do you guys know who she took over for? Like, who was the original narrator?
Well, they
It's a
switch
different
every year.
Yeah, they switch it every year.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
changes.
So was she actually scheduled for this, or was it somebody
Yeah,
else? She was
this
actually scheduled. Okay.
Yeah, she was
I
the
thought
one.
she took the place of somebody that couldn't make it.
No, she was
They were
the
probably
one.
like-
But Disneyland doesn't announce it until basically either somebody spots the celebrity in the park that day, or basically the sound check.
Sound check. Yeah.
Wow.
So
And that's the
Disneyland
difference.
keeps it very secret.
Yeah, that's the difference between Epcot and Disneyland. Disneyland always keeps it secret. Epcot, they announce it ahead of schedule, but mainly that's because they want people to be able to plan their vacations so that they can go and see the people or celebrities they want to see for those different shows.
Gotcha.
They probably had Brie Larson scheduled like months and months ago because they wanted to kind of cross promote the Marvels.
Yeah,
And then the Marvels didn't do so hot, so we're like, okay, we're stuck with her though.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So whenever
sorry,
you have
got
it ready,
that one.
Cordy, just go ahead and put it back up.
Yeah, it's right. It should have sound. Did it have sound the last time when I
The first time.
The first
time,
time,
yes.
yeah.
This is a blessing for which
There we
we
go.
There we go.
deeply yearn. It moves us to welcome this season with a renewed sense of kindness and compassion to others. We gather at celebrations. We create memories with family and friends. We go home. For For the coming of the holidays brings the promise of
I
faith,
think we're hitting
of
some.
hope, and of love. But the greatest of these is love. Love bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. Love never ends. And so, from age to age, from the mighty to the meek, from the young to the old, for the healthy and the sick, for the rich and the poor, for all nations, great and small, we rejoice in this season of love with one another, with heavenly peace. This is a blessing for
Yeah. So that's towards the end, and she was getting kind of emotional there, you could tell.
Yeah.
But that's a little more emotional than we got.
Oh
Yeah,
my gosh.
Yeah, when she's actually, it was funny because I watched the very first performance on Saturday, and yeah, she was really flat, and I was like, is it just nerves or something? I can't imagine why she would be nervous about it, but sometimes these kind of events, people, there's a certain gravity to them, and it can kind of get to people possibly. But it just seemed like she was really nervous when she was reading the narration. And then after they did Silent Night, it was much more emotion in her voice. And I think it was the shift from the Bible verses to either standard script, or she was just kind of, able to talk how she wanted to. And that's when there was the emotion. So I don't know if she just felt that, the Bible verses were, something, you play it straight, you don't mess with it, you don't try to flower it up or whatever, that could be, her point of view, but those were very flat in both of the performances that I saw. But then she got very emotional toward the end of it, which was really nice to see.
Which seems to be kind of a running trend with Brie Larson. I'm not trying to pile on or anything, but I mean, the criticisms of her character Captain Marvel is kind of the same thing, right? Kind of flat, kind of dry, and then we see her here, and in the beginning she was kind of dry. So it seems like that might be just part of her thing. I'm not really sure, but I don't know. It's just interesting.
Well, Maverick Dewey says she's not a speaker in front of a big crowd, but I don't know. To me, I know everyone's a little different. Britney Spears, lip syncs. I mean, did I say that out loud? But when people, you expect a certain, I don't know, quality from the celebrity that's coming out and doing this, and you expect them, to show some enthusiasm and empathy and all those things you would expect, especially just reading, even if it's from the Bible, for this processional. But I was just a little disappointed that she didn't do a better job. It wasn't horrible. It just wasn't. It wasn't great.
Yeah. What did you think, Cordy?
I think for me it was more you're in the moment of it. So I felt like I was pretty immersed, and there was a woman crying in front of me, and then I start crying. So we were all so
she wasn't listening to Brie
because of all that. But when she actually, that particular clip, whether she's, I don't know, is she acting? Is that true? Feeling that was coming from her. So, but I guess when I was hearing the words, it hit home with me, just the words that she was,
right.
about love and just the times we're in. But so yeah, I thought, and she doesn't speak often, right? She comes out 4 times or so. So you're have that, and then you go to the vocalist for Silent Night, so it's I think just as a whole, right, it was
now
just beautiful. So I don't think I separated her out from it.
I know Theme Park Casual wants to talk about it, because that was an amazing moment, the Silent Night part.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that part always, it's I think that's the turning point in the show, when it goes from, oh, this is really nice, to suddenly everybody's, like you said, in that moment, there's the emotion is, at its highest level right there. And I think part of it is because, like we were talking about the setting, on Main Street, you've got this wonderful, fabricated, safe little spot that's, picture perfect from every angle. You've got these amazing singers. You got the soloist, singing in, what was he singing in, Spanish or Italian?
Yeah.
And so it's it becomes ethereal. You're kind of wrapped up in this, and then when they turn and they say, "Please join us in singing," you've got the whole crowd singing Silent Night, and it just, the emotion that just comes falling down on the entire area, it literally can bring you to tears. And I mean, I could see Mrs. Casual wiping her eyes, and Casual Jr. has his arm around her, and they're just kind of swaying and singing together, and you could just
Beautiful.
see everybody just, it's like, you start seeing families kind of squished together. There's just all of that emotion happening. And like I said, that's like the little hinge that the whole show turns on. And then from then on, everybody's just, it's that buoyancy from that togetherness and that collective experience of what just happened.
Kiki and Luca, shout out to Kiki and Luca. We love them, but they bring up a good point, and I kind of touched upon it earlier on. Like, what do you guys think about Bible verses in the park? Seem like they have been going away from Christmas stuff at Disneyland. Yeah, I'm surprised. I really am surprised. I mean, the Candlelight Processional, I've never seen it in person, but I've seen a lot of video on it and everything. It looks like a gorgeous experience, but I'm really surprised how religious it is and how they've continued it all these years. Now, I think it's fantastic. I'm just surprised they've kept it all this time. I don't know. What do you guys?
Yeah, I agree. I'm surprised that they've kept it, and the cynical side of me says it's simply because it's a moneymaker.
Yeah.
And the PR backlash that they would have if they said they were canceling it would just be, I think it would be overwhelming. I think there's just a little bit too much that if they tried to cancel that, the backlash would not only be swift, but it would be a heavy financial backlash. There would be people dropping off real quick.
Yeah.
Well, and this is something that Walt started, I mean, even though it wasn't the processional in 1955, he still started something like it, and it didn't become the processional until 1960. But the thing is, this is one of Walt's things. And if they take it away, like Casual said, I think a lot of people will be upset and really furious about it. So I'm glad they keep some of those things that Walt used to do. And this is one of them. So, back then, religion wasn't such a big controversial thing like it is today. But regardless, I think it's great they do that. But it's not just, Disneyland. I mean, even Knott's Berry Farm, they still do it in their Snoopy show on ice. And they talk about, Jesus and how he was born, et cetera, et cetera. And it's a great moment. And a lot of people cheer. I never hear anyone boo or say anything else. But I'm sure there's some people out there like, what the heck is that all about? Regardless, I think it's great that they still take the time to kind of acknowledge it, because that's how the founders of those parks, felt, and that's what they liked, and that's what they did.
Yeah. Well said. Absolutely.
All right. Do we have any final thoughts about the Candlelight Procession? Anything that we missed that you guys wanted to bring up or talk about real quick?
I just wish they could get a little more organized with the queuing. I think that's my one gripe with it. Is it's just that's a rough one.
Yeah, I guess that would be my thing too. It would be that the performance is amazing, fantastic, one of the best things Disneyland does, but the experience of it sometimes can be less than because of how crowded and crazy and how long you're standing there. And so yeah, it can be a bit much as far as the experience of it, but the performance itself is amazing.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, we got there, I think we waited about 2 hours and 20 minutes before the processional started, and then it lasted 50 minutes long. So by the time we were done, you're standing there for almost 3.5 hours. That's a long time to be standing, especially when there's no room to really move, and everyone's kind of crowding in on you more and more as the
well, and Mrs. Casual didn't get to the park till like about 5 o'clock. And so she's trying to figure out, she calls me, she's like, where are you? I can't find you. And I'm like, we're in front of the Emporium doors, right across from City Hall. And she's all, I'm right in front of the doors and blah, blah. And I said, no, the other doors. And she's all, what other doors? So, and then she's like, okay, I see you. And then she's all, they won't let me go in. And I was like, well, try going around and walking. And she's all, they won't let me pass the rope. And what? And so,
I will say that I like the fact that it's outside and it's by the train station. That kind of makes it special too. And it looks beautiful the way they have it set up. The problem is, with all the people who are invited and get to sit in chairs and the people that crowd around and with all the trees and everything, it's just really hard to kind of see, especially when you have tall people in front of you, which is, you can't always manage that, unfortunately. But the thing is, I wish there was some place that we could do it where more people could attend. And it's too bad that they don't do more than 2 shows each night, but understandably why. And I know that the one time they tried it at DCA didn't really work out for, the Hyperion Theater, but it was a great idea. But yeah, it's just it's a bummer that we can't do something in a different place.
This kind of goes against what I was saying earlier, because I love how they incorporate, like within the Disneyland park of these nighttime shows. What if they utilize the Fantasyland Theater?
Well, they tried it a few years back to do it in the Hyperion Theater.
Yeah.
And while it was nice, everybody said this isn't the Candlelight Processional. The feel and everything, it just kind of, everybody was like, it just feels like any other show now.
How do you all feel about if it was in the Fantasyland Theater? Would that fit into, or no, that would be completely out of place? I would think, honestly, it would probably be better than what the heck they got in there now. At least utilize it for something, because
I'm on the team bulldoze the Fantasyland Theater.
Oh, absolutely. I'm honestly, I say get rid of that thing. That thing is like taking up so much space. But until then,
it's ugly, It's hideous.
You guys are going to ruin my dreams of Videopolis from 1984, okay? I showed my age.
Yeah, so I think I prefer it. As crazy as the event is for everybody, I wouldn't want to change it too much, because it's like Fantasmic. It's like suddenly Main Street comes alive at Christmas. It's a whole. The setting is part of the show. Mm-hmm. That's the unfortunate thing. You can't just do the Candlelight Procession and get that same feel just anywhere.
Exactly. And that's a big thing with the magic of our Fantasmic here in California is I've said it a million times, that organic feel where it's like part of the park is incorporated into the show. It sounds super cheesy, but there's that magic to that, that the organic, like this thing just erupts, as opposed to the Florida version where you walk into an amphitheater, you sit on a bleacher. It's very much a show from minute one, Right. I love that organic feel we have out here. And the processional has that same vibe.
Yeah, exactly. So
I was just going to say, because you just made me think of this, is being a part of the park, because same Fantasmic and the processional, like even if you weren't in that crowd, you weren't in a seat, whatever, you're walking in the park, you're walking out of the park, you're a part of it. So just like Fantasmic, right? You're walking around, you're headed to Haunted Mansion, you're there with it. So I think that's huge.
That's a great point, Cordy. It adds to the environment of the area around it as well. It's not just the people watching the show, but when you're walking down Main Street and you hear that Christmas music, it hits you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's special.
Yeah. And Bianca said it would feel like what I imagine it feels like now. Walt Disney World, the setting really adds to the feeling, and it really does.
Yeah. So. All right. So we're going to move on to another Christmas offering that Disneyland has right now, but we're gonna take it to another level. Cordy actually did one of the dining packages where you get reserved seating for the Christmas Fantasy Parade, and she has some thoughts. So Cordy, please take it away.
Now,
I do. I do.
So I have but it's a longer clip. It's like 3 minutes, I think. But I can just go verbally, or I can kind of show you, because I have the meal, I have like where I stood, all that good stuff. If you guys want visuals,
however you like to do it, you've got the floor.
Okay, I think I'll just share it because it kind of is self-explanatory, and you'll get to see everything. So maybe we should just do that. Let's see if I can find way too many tabs. Okay. How do I show this? Can
Is it a picture or is it video?
I? Video. Let me see if it'll let
Should
me.
be just like
All right. So when you come, you get a link.
Well, I'm awake.
All right, let's see, because it's I don't see it on the little window of what I can share.
I think you have, go to present.
Yeah, no, I'm there. It just what do you call it? I can't.
And Kiki and Luca, to answer your question, no, I don't have the K-pop clips with me. I'm on their StreamYard, not mine, so I can't play the money drop. I'm sorry.
We need to get some sound bites though. You guys have some amazing sound bites on Orange Grove 55, so I'm kind of envious we have not done that, and that's something we need to work on. So
Maybe if I do whole window, yeah.
yeah, you just have to share it, and then I'll add it to the queue.
Oops. Turn it down.
Lanyard.
We can't see it though. Hold on.
I won't turn it on. Can you hear or no?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
We can hear it. You just don't see it.
When you come, you get a lanyard for your reserved viewing. You also
Oh,
Cordy,
is it
I
not
think
so?
you have to present it.
Yeah, I am.
Oh,
So maybe it's not gonna. Maybe that's not. Yeah, I did my whole screen. Well, anyways, let me just tell you about it. So it yeah, it's presenting, but it won't show. So basically, the experience is it's $49 for adults, $27 for children, and then your Magic Key discount applies. So it's a Plaza Inn lunch, and it was beef bourguignon, and you get mashed potatoes and like these roasted Brussels sprouts and carrots. So the meal was good, and you get a dessert. It was like a Black Forest Yule log cake, and then you get your beverage. So I thought, right, the meal alone, that was good. So it was $44 and something with my discount. And then they give you your lanyard, and you get your little ticket that you bring to the flagpole. They say to line up no earlier than 6 p.m. and the parade is at 6:30. So of course I got there. I'm like, oh, I'm going to get there early. So I got there about 5:40, and there were already people lined up. So the line was like, snaking through that whole area already. So I'm like, okay. And so we waited there, and then they let us in, and where they had us, where the reserved area is you're facing the Disneyland Railroad Station, and you're in between the churro cart and the popcorn cart. So it's that area right there, the trees behind you. And the people that got there first, of course, got to sit on the curb. So I was lucky enough, I was right behind the people on the curb. But what I thought was interesting is, so we all get in there. I'm like, all right, it's lots of space, right? At least we get this room, elbow room. They took down the ropes, and anybody could come in.
Wow.
So I was like, so why did we pay?
That's great.
Are you serious? They let anybody just come in
Yes.
right behind you.
The people that were sitting on the curb were trying to stop people. Like they did stop a few. They're like, oh no, this is reserved. So why are we? I didn't think that us, kind of managing that was appropriate.
Wow.
But yeah, they took down the ropes and everybody. So it was it filled up. And so I just thought the value wasn't there. It was a great spot. I got a great view of the parade, but had I just spent that same amount of time that I stood there, right, waiting to get into that spot, I could have found a great spot anywhere at Small World.
Yeah.
I could have walked into that same area.
Well, yeah, geez.
Me.
I wouldn't be surprised if they got a few complaints over at City Hall about that. I mean, that's pretty That's pretty egregious. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you pay that money and then these people just, they don't pay a dime and they just walk in and it's like, I don't know. That's not good.
This is
not a good show.
This is not a dinner. This is a lunch for $49 for adults and $27 for kids. And you can see right here, you know, we're showing the adult dining package menu and what you can get. And I mean, it doesn't look like $50 worth of meat, but you're supposed to be getting this reserved seating area, or it's not seating area, but area to watch a parade. And, you know, like Cordy was saying, if they're just going to have everyone stand in line and then go to this area and then they open up to everyone else, well, why should we do this? I mean, it's not worth the money to do that. You could just, like she said, go anywhere you want and stand there. And, you know, I'm used to where they give you the dining package and, hey, you have a reserved seat for Fantasmic, or you have a reserved seat for, you know, something. But to not have an actual reserved area and they just let anyone go in is, to me, not good.
Mm-hmm.
No, that sounds like you pay for it and then you get there and Disney tells you,
I am altering the deal. Pray I don't alter it any further.
Right? Exactly.
Yeah. Now, have you guys ever done any of the dining packages like this for a show, George?
George, have you ever done this before?
I'm trying to think. I've done the Fantasmic dining package, but I've done it at Walt Disney World.
Okay.
I've never done anything with Disneyland. Although I have heard a lot of criticism with those. Not even just with the one that Cordy described, but I mean like around like for the Disneyland Fantasmic, it's a lot of times where they have so much blocked off for Fantasmic from when it was, you know, and a lot of it wasn't even being utilized.
Right.
That it's just because, and then the amount of food that you get for that price range, I mean, I could pretty much do it as Cordy said, like I could pretty much do it on my own. Like I know my way around Disneyland and I know like how to strategize myself to, you know, what time to get there, how to get a good spot. For me specifically, I'm not like a huge fan of the dining packages. I know people do like to do it, but it's not my cup of tea.
Yeah, speaking of Fantasmic, I've seen it just last summer or before the dragon went up in flames. There were times where second show for Fantasmic, you'd be, you know, kind of over near where Tiana's is now, and you'd be, you know, like one level up, you know, so they've got it all blocked off for the dining people at the front edge of the rivers. And then like 5 minutes, 10 minutes before the show, they open it up and everybody starts, you know, basically doing the same thing that happened to Cordy and filling in behind all these people that paid, you know, what is it, like $75, $99 or whatever for the Fantasmic. If you do Blue Bayou or something, you know, you're paying a lot of money. And then they just like, oh, well, we didn't sell as many as we thought, so we're going to just drop the rope and all these people can come in right behind you. And it's, you know, I don't know, that soured me on, you know, these, you know, packages. It's like, I don't think I would ever do one.
Yeah, I haven't done a Fantasmic dining package. I've done the World of Color dining packages because back in the day, like when I think it was like when World of Color just premiered, like in 2010-ish, around there, you would have to go to Ariel's Grotto when it was Ariel's Grotto, the Lamplight Lounge. And if you dine there, you get like you get the dining package and you dine there and you get like better seating or whatever. And I would do that all the time.
But why do the dining package for World of Color when like I can get that for you? I'm like so beyond a dining package for World of Color. Like
this guy, I don't know how he does it. I can't get a Lamplight Lounge reservation to save my life, and this guy's doing it like every other visit. I'm like, George, what's going on, brother? Who do you know?
Now I will say, no, it's a lot easier than you think, OG. I mean, last time I went, I just walked up and I was able to do a walk-in. It was great, and I was always worried I wouldn't be able to. So I think it's
for the walk-in. Did you have a table or did they seat you at the bar?
No, they sat us at the table. Actually, it's funny. They sat us at the table that you sat at last time we were all there.
Oh, really? Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I love Lamplight Lounge. That's a great spot.
I used to like it until they got rid of the Kung Pao Baos, but that's another topic.
Don't even get me started with that.
Right.
That is
I
such
bet-
a huge disappointment.
It is, and I bet you it has something to do with
San Francisco.
Yeah, it's very Asian inspired over there at San Francisco, and there was probably some like Excel spreadsheet executive deciding, well, we have too many Asian locations in this park now, so we gotta, take one away from here, and I'm sure it was something like that, something really stupid.
That doesn't jive because over at Carthay, Circle or whatever they call it, what do they call it? Carthay
They put
Lounge.
the
They
bells
actually have they call it a ginger soy bow or something like that. So
Nice.
whatever.
Yeah,
It's crazy. Weird decisions, really weird decisions.
Okay,
Yeah,
sorry.
but I mean, it could be that we think they're the greatest thing, but they weren't selling the way we think they should. So
True.
you never know.
That's very, very true.
I think it's the
Absolutely.
opposite. I think it's because they were selling good that they get rid of it.
Yeah,
I find that with a lot of things, like everything, like because I work with sales and marketing, and it's like when something is popular, we get the least of, and then we get all this other crap that just sits and collects dust, and it's like it doesn't move. But we have 15,000 of those.
Yeah.
You know how much pork bellies cost now?
Yeah. I'm noticing in the chat, Kingdom Report says the Christmas guided tour comes with reserved viewing with cookies, cocoa, and a real chair.
Nice.
So I think those are the ones that you see like around the hub where there's like they've got the benches moved and everything's positioned, and the chairs are sitting there. So I think those are for the tour. The tours are obviously even much more expensive than the dining package that Cordy got with Plaza Inn. So it comes with a cost, obviously. So.
And shout out to the Kingdom Report. We love them. We're fans over here at OGVD5. So glad you guys can join us. That's awesome.
Yeah, thanks for joining. Next, I think we're gonna shall we shift? We're gonna shift gears a little bit and kind of look forward as to what's coming up at Disneyland, because just today we had a huge announcement of all the events and special seasons, if you will, that are going to be coming to Disneyland next year. And some of them I'm excited for. Some of them I'm kind of like, okay.
So what you're saying, casual, is you're on that Pixar Fest hype train, huh?
Oh yeah, that's the one. I mean, and I don't know. For a while there, I was kind of checked out of Disneyland because I didn't have a pass, and it was too expensive to go for individual days. And I was just like, okay, so I don't even remember this Together Forever fireworks show. So I had to go look it up and watch a YouTube video. I don't know who's in charge, but they need to be fired, because that fireworks show compared to Wondrous Journeys, is just pathetic. Absolutely pathetic.
To all due respect, casual, you have to think too. They may be adding Turning Red into that, so it may change like the hype difference for it.
Yeah. It could just send it to the top for me with Turning Red, and what? If anything, if I had my way, it would become Together Forever, Mickey's Mixed Magic mashup. It would just take two of the best shows they've ever done. And
well, it's funny that you actually it's funny that you actually say that, because OG and I did a recording for OG 55 about this, and we were kind of talking because we were looking at the dates, and I noticed that when Pixar Fest starts, and where what was before it? I forget what something with the dates. It was before it. So there's like a 3 to 4 month gap before Pixar Fest starts. So I don't really think that they would have to bring back Wondrous Journeys for that 3-4 month gap. So, and I had mentioned it's probably going to be Mickey's Mixed Magic, because they always use that as sort of like their tentpole, just for like a brief moment to fill the gap.
Yeah. So, Bob, if you have the screen, you could scroll down on that page a little bit, and we'll see the entire 2024 calendar. And so,
there we go.
January 23rd, we start with Lunar New Year through February 18th. Then February 17th and 24th, we've got Celebrate Gospel. March 1st through April 22nd is the California Adventure Food and Wine Festival. And then overlapping with that, April 5th to June 2nd is Star Wars Season of the Force. And then a little overlap with that is Pixar Fest, which runs April 26th to August 4th. So it is that's the big summer festival, if you will, the big theme for the summer. And then this is another one that's got me kind of scratching my head and kind of wondering who's doing what. But August 23rd, we start Halloween time.
They are starting earlier this year.
A week early.
You know, I kind of went on the video that we recorded together, George, earlier today. I kind of went on a little bit of a mini rant about that because it's like, it's like people like if you even mention Christmas a day before Thanksgiving, people get so upset, right? Now we're doing Halloween in August. Where's the outrage?
Well,
like I don't get it.
Well, actually, I think it's starting 2 weeks earlier now because it was September 5th, I think, this year. Or
No, September
6th,
1st. It
like
started
that.
on the 1st. It was on September 1st this year. Yeah.
Was it really?
So yeah, it's like 8 days earlier than this year.
That's still 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's crazy. But and then also starting August 23rd to November 2nd is celebration of Coco Plaza de la Familia.
That's a cute little event. I like that one.
I love it.
And then here's the other kicker: is the holidays begin on November 15th, which is 5 days later than this year.
And we brought that up too because I looked at that and I thought that seems really late for the holidays.
Yeah, well, and then do that last year.
Last year, yeah, it was probably like the 11th or 12th or something like that it started. So it was a little bit later last year as well. But I think it's just a matter of how the calendar lands because they have to launch on a Friday. And if they went with November 8th, they're cramming the changeover from Halloween to Christmas into, basically a week.
Well, I think it's stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but honestly, I'm kind of surprised that they didn't just say, you know what, we're going to go a week early because we can start our food festival early and start getting some cash for that, get an extra week of the lanyard selling and whatever. So, but yeah, so out of those, I mean, most of these are things that are coming back, things that we're used to. They haven't announced all of the Disneyland After Dark events. The only one that we know of that is coming back is Oogie Boogie Bash. I would assume.
And Disney, if you're listening, I know you're probably not going to because I'm just a little peon in this mix of Disney fans. But if there is a Disney After Dark event you can bring back, it's the 90s night because I ended up missing. I really want to experience that in person because I got to watch some video footage on YouTube, and I just love that Disney afternoon kind of vibe with all the Disney afternoon characters and the fireworks and dressing up in the 90s attire. I mean, I would so definitely buy a ticket for that event.
Well, it does say here Disneyland Park will host 4 themed soirees. So it's 4. Which 4 are they going to do? I'm assuming they're going to do, Star Wars night again. They'll probably do Sweethearts night again.
They'll probably do Pride
night.
night.
Sweethearts night. I didn't care for Sweethearts night.
Which one, Cordy?
Sweethearts night. It's very dark and they repeated. There was like the music was on a loop and a very short loop of music.
Oh.
So you would just hear the same thing over and over and over again.
And
throwback.
Well, it kind of fits well because that pretty much summed up my marriage. So.
Now the Kingdom report here says, how about 90s summer nights, George? An entire summer of throwing it back.
Wow.
Yes.
There
Yes.
you go.
Yeah,
That,
I mean,
see, now that would be perfect. Like that would be completely awesome because that can just give people like a chance to be able to, try something different that they haven't done before. I would so definitely do that. Then, as I said, Pixar Fest is okay. I'm wondering too if they're using that because Pixar was kind of like on a slump within the theaters and the films lately. So I wonder if they're trying to boost the morale to get people back into that Pixar. That
It could be.
Pixar.
Yeah,
Oracle
it could
again.
be they're trying to give them a little bit of a shot in the arm.
Kingdom Report's onto something here. He says Michael Eisner can host all of the 90s nights. That would be really dope.
Oh,
dude.
man.
Or you can even have like,
imagine that.
oh, dude. Or you can even have like on the fireworks show, like the hello, I'm Michael Eisner, head of the Walt Disney Company, like mixed into the music. That'd be great, man.
Yeah, and Marty Snyder in the chat. Marty Snyder in the chat brings up something that he mentioned on Twitter as well. Halloween start date is so early. Haunted Mansion holiday will be up so long that standard Haunted Mansion will be considered the overlay.
Oh man, yeah,
that's completely true. I mean, you're going to have Haunted Mansion holiday longer than you have regular Haunted Mansion.
Yeah, exactly.
And as much as everybody likes the overlay, some of us would like to enjoy the original Haunted Mansion every now and then.
Yeah, no,
and
100%.
It's rough because it goes down for 2 weeks for install and tear down, so you lose a month right there. It's crazy that they're doing it that early.
But Kiki Lucas says, "Love Haunted Mansion holiday." Sorry.
I like it too. It's just can it be just a little bit shorter?
They they could streamline the takedown and the put up process and just kind of shorten. I agree with you on that, Casual. Just kind of shorten that a little bit so we can get a little more time with the original. That'd be fantastic.
Although Theme Park Wizard brought it up. They're going to be doing the construction, and that could be why they're just going to do it early.
Oh, that's true.
Because they're going to just basically Haunted Mansion is going to be closed, so it's basically. We may not get regular Haunted Mansion until 2025.
Yeah.
Oh,
jeez. That's a good point. That's a good point.
It's almost depressing when you think of it that way. Jeez.
And if we could actually just touch upon the seasons of the Force for a little.
Oh yeah, we could touch upon that.
I thought that was. Because Chewy was very excited about this when we did our recording when we talked about it. But like how Disney made the announcement that there was going to be new scenes for Star Tours, so they're kind of incorporating that for the season of the Force. But what was very interesting for me as for all of this is when they said there's going to be like a fresh perspective for the fireworks during Disneyland, where they're going to have like a galactic music kind of piping through the spires of Galaxy's Edge. I thought that was kind of interesting because I'm glad that they're at least doing something in that area, because it's basically crickets over there.
Yeah.
Well, and I think a lot of people like watching the fireworks from that area. For me, it's really, really cool. And I've always said, hey, wouldn't it be cool if we had some music to go with this? So maybe they'll actually put some galactic music that kind of goes with the fireworks show. And that way it makes it a little more magical for the people over there in Galaxy's Edge, because I think that's a great idea.
Yeah,
hey, I like it. Yeah. I do the same thing when I say magical. The little quote. you got to, man. You got to.
Yeah, well, exactly. Well, I know Theme Park Wizard is all excited though about Hyperspace Mountain coming back. So.
Oh yeah. Oh, he's hyped.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is.
First Space Mountain.
Well, I just hope that whatever scenes they're doing for the Star Tours are not based off the new trilogy. Sorry, did I say that out loud?
No, they probably won't. It'll probably be Mando, I think, right? I would think they would.
It's got to be.
That'd be a
good
idea.
Yeah.
It's probably more scenes of Raylo.
Yeah.
Don't say that.
The fingertips by the fireplace, George.
Again.
all I know is with the music, with the fireworks in Batu, if they don't play Yub Nub, it's a big miss.
Exactly.
That's all I'm going to say.
Oh, that's great.
All right. What else we got coming up in the summer is the big announcement that I'm excited for is the return of Fantasmic. Yes. And not only is Fantasmic returning, but the Peter Pan sequence is coming back. And if you guys have ever heard me,
they got my letter.
Yeah. So don't ever think you're a small peon, George. You are a gigantic peon.
I did not say that. That was
I put that on my resume.
But yeah, I have never liked the Pirates of the Caribbean sequence in Fantasmic. I always thought it stuck out like a sore thumb. It was clunky dialogue. It just did not flow with the rest of the show for me. So I can't wait to see the Peter Pan sequence returned. I hope they keep it exactly as it was in Fantasmic 1.0.
Well,
and I hope that they actually bring back TikTok the crocodile float coming behind the Columbia or the pirate ship.
So supposedly there's some new special effects to go with that scene. So, and as I was mentioning earlier to all of you, I hope that they're going to bring TikTok back, the alligator, or crocodile. Sorry, following
right.
If that would be really cool. So
they could do some pretty cool stuff actually with the Columbia for Peter Pan in terms of like projection mapping. If they can do this, I don't know. I'm not a tech guy, but I would assume they can projection map maybe pixie dust on the ship or something.
And turn the whole ship
cool.
gold, sort of like how they did at the end of the film. That would be awesome.
That'd be great. That'd be great.
Yep.
Well, some people call me a pixie duster. I can maybe give them some.
What's that?
I said some people call me a pixie duster. Maybe I can give them some.
Do you have that?
Dust.
Do you have that drop, OG, from the
pixie? Oh, I do have that drop. I don't want to get everyone too hyped though. There you go.
Now you make me want to go watch that parade again. Darn it!
That's
a banger.
the danger
It's
of
a
playing
banger.
that clip. It gets in your head.
And then in 2024, we still have the Tiana's Bayou Adventure coming. That's part of what they're listing is still going to be making it in 2024. We shall see if they can meet that deadline. I don't know. Depends on how extensive everything is. What do you guys think? Do you think they're gonna make it? Or are they gonna put a?
Now, when they say late 2024, did they actually say is it going to be like November, December? Is that like
given zero?
They didn't really. I mean, I think honestly, this could just be me. I would have kept that away from the holiday time frame because the parks are already packed to begin with,
right?
For the holidays, and I would have actually started it maybe like at the beginning of 2025. And I know people are thinking, oh, 2025, it's even long. It's literally just 1 month. Just kind of just started off like where, you're coming off the hype of the holidays. And then you kind of have the January month where there's like not a whole lot going on. And that's usually a time where they're doing, for Walt Disney World, I don't know how Disneyland's schedule goes for like maintenance, but a lot of the times they do a lot of refurbishments and downtime for attractions in January for Walt Disney World. So if they were to do that for Disneyland, then you would have a brand new attraction open that can kind of fill that gap.
Yeah, I'm surprised the Disneyland one is opening at that time because that's just a year away, really. I mean, Florida, right. I can kind of see it because they got a head start on this,
Right.
But I wouldn't be surprised if the Disneyland one gets pushed out a little bit. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, that's why I was kind of interesting that they actually just put that in with all the announcements, and they're still trying to make that. You would think that. I'm under the impression though that means that they're on schedule and they feel like they're going to be able to hit that deadline, because otherwise, why put it in there if you're already thinking, oh, it's going to be tight.
Well, I think it was Marty that just said they may hold it for the 70th. Do you think that's too far of a stretch?
That's 2025, right?
Right. I mean, it's not a stretch. I mean, what better way to kick off your 70th anniversary celebration than, hey, we got a brand new e-ticket ride.
Yeah,
they could.
I mean, it's a controversial one. It's one that you're going to have some people automatically disliking it just because you took away Splash Mountain. So it's a dicey one to use, but it is going to be huge. It's going to be a big draw.
The curiosity factor for this thing is going to be through the roof. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What if later in 2024 just means like late summer or something like that? No,
I don't know. It depends how extensive the changes are. Because if
it doesn't look from D23, it doesn't look like they've taken away more than added. So I mean, We're going to end up with 6 new animatronics, and that's it. Oh, did I say that out loud?
Yeah.
Because they took it, because I forget the initial amount of animatronics that was in Splash Mountain, but I think it's 75 for Bayou Adventure. I know it was more in Splash, so I think they cut out a big portion of it, but I think it's like around 75, 80 animatronics.
Yeah, well, I think they're probably from some of the art, you can see that they're reusing some of them.
Yeah.
You know, there's some that you can recognize. It's like, oh, they're probably just reskinning some of these.
And then some of those, like in the backdrop with the trees, and you can kind of see the sky and all that. Supposedly that's going to be projection mapping, so you'll have like the fireflies and stuff. I think that would be kind of a cool effect. I mean, we don't have right now in Splash Mountain.
Yeah,
Right.
So it should be interesting. My biggest concern with this ride, look, the IP itself could work. I think in that space it could be really, really cool. My biggest concern, I've been saying this for a long time, is the story seems overly complicated. It's a co-op, and there's like a salt mine, and they're looking for the ingredient. It's just too much going on. You don't need to do all that. Just put the movie in the building, and you're good.
right.
All you
Well, I
gotta do.
agree.
Yeah.
Well, because you start trying to explain things, and the salt mine is underground, not above ground. So how do you explain that one?
Right.
Why are they doing that to themselves? Like you said, just put the movie in there and we're fine.
Exactly. Yeah, it's just too much.
Yeah, but it is what it is, and we're going to be, hopefully able to experience it next year sometime. We shall see exactly when that is. What else? Let's see what else is.
We got the Pixar
announced.
Place hotel opening January 30th of 2024.
Yeah.
So
Again, that one I don't know. It's
You're not on the hype train,
I mean, if we're already going to take the bulldozer out for the Fantasyland Theater, might as well make a quick pit stop.
Yeah.
And I know you guys are speculating about Pixar Fest, but I mean, think about it. They're opening up the new hotel. It makes sense. They're kind of bringing back Pixar Fest. They're trying to get people back into the whole Pixar thing. So
that's a fantastic point, Bob.
Yeah. I mean, even though they're just reskinning that hotel. Oh, did I say that?
But you're right. That's exactly what it is. I'm sure it's for the hotel. I think that's exactly what it is, because it's from April to August. I think.
Yeah.
That's the summer that it opens.
April 26th to August 4th.
Yeah,
Right.
It's the hotel. Exactly. That's what it is. It's crazy, man.
How about all the new goodness of downtown Disney District?
I'm looking forward to this. Actually, I like Ding Tai Fung. Actually, I've had it a few times. I like that place. But hey, I'm also a PF Chang's guy. So what can I got whatever.
you just take the entire range of the spectrum, huh?
I think it'd be kind of cool.
What about
they have
you, Cordy? You're kind of a foodie when it comes to this. What are you looking forward to the changes at Downtown Disney?
I am. I think, the restaurants. But you know what I'm more excited about is them building on that area where they have the bandstand kind of set up now.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't had a chance to go there and check it out, but I've seen a few videos on it. But that seems really exciting. Like once the restaurants are in, all the walls are down. Like we've needed this for so long. Like that space was just so waste of space, basically, right?
Exactly.
We had the movie theater, but then obviously people stopped going. But it needed this big lift, and I'm just hoping that they just keep it up, and then do the upkeep once they set it up. Just the upkeep, keep those chairs there. Don't take the chairs away from us, and people are ruining them, so we'll take them away. Things like that.
Well,
so. I think it's exciting because we have it's a pretty small area when you really think about it, right?
Yeah.
It's just kind of this long stretch, but there's not a lot of space for them to do things just in the space we see now. So, and I think if you're staying on property, what a great thing to have, right? To be able to just go right there and you have all this just steps away versus, leaving.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, absolutely.
I will say I was there a couple of Saturdays ago with my family, and they actually had a band playing there. So I got to hear a band play for the first time. And I talked to Donnieland because he had some concerns being from the industry, music industry, that is, about all the concrete stage and how they had it set up. But it actually sounded pretty good. everyone was sitting on the grass or sitting in all the chairs. It's cool because they have like the little rolling hills there for the kids to run up and down, and they were having a lot of fun. It'll be great, like Cordy said, once the walls come down, and then it opens the place up so that more families and friends can hang out and go in those areas where the restaurants are going to be. So I think it'll open up a little bit more. But yeah, it's a nice area, and I agree. It's nice because you have so many things on property now. You've got obviously right there around the hotels, you've got Trader Sam's, which is a great place to go eat and whatnot, and then just down the way you got downtown Disney with all these new restaurants and all the shops. So I think it's great. Porto's coming. Ooh, that's gonna be busy.
Yeah. Now, George, I know you're a big tea fan. Have you been to Ding Tai Fung? Checked it out, or do they have that where you're at, or?
We don't have that, but I mean, like, we have like those kind of like that type. Like, I am a big foodie when it comes to that kind of, like, I love Korean barbecue. I love that kind of that Zen and what is it called? Zen and I don't know if I'm pronouncing this correctly, so don't. Is it pokey?
Pokey?
Pokey? Do the hokey
the Pokeball. I know.
I'd like to see you do that, George.
the Pokey bowls.
The bowls, yeah. You've been hanging around me too much, OG.
I think so, George. I think so. But so you like that? You like
yeah,
that?
I do like that. I do like that kind of food. It's definitely something I'm interested in. Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, I'm curious. I'm curious why they decided to put, or why Porto's is going to be so close to the entrances.
Right.
It seems odd because that seems. I was talking with Mrs. Casual, and it's like that is going to be a draw away from the parks because it's so easy to get to. It's going to take people, especially Magic Key holders. It's like, I'll just go to Porto's. Why would I eat here at whatever restaurant? It's like, I'll just run outside, go get some Porto's.
Well, can I ask you all? This is going to kind of go off a little bit of topic here, but this was on my mind because of all the construction and all the new things coming to downtown Disney. But for like a lot of, and I know nothing is set in stone yet for Disneyland Forward, but a lot of this was incorporated that if they were to use like for like an extra entranceway into, like if they were to add, like expand DCA or even Disneyland Park or even potentially the third gate that apparently that Damaro is saying that, that there we do have room, for, where does that leave the fate of like old, I'm not going to say old, but currently where downtown Disney sits, that if they were to incorporate that as like a more of an extra entrance or a pathway after Disneyland Forward, that if they were going to use the extra space for like a Disney Springs type of complex, then why do all these renovations now?
Like you're saying that maybe the plan down the road is to get rid of this stuff and use it for theme park?
If they were, because honestly, that would be the best bet to go, I would think, because that way it still is infused within the theme park space, but I don't know why that they would be putting all this money out now if that was the case. So is that not Disney's plan to utilize this as extra theme park space?
Yeah, well, I think the lot over there by the Pixar Place Hotel is for sure going to be DCA expansion. I think they're serious about that. I don't know. The other side is would be Disneyland expansion. I don't know. Does Disneyland really need an expansion though?
That's exactly what I was thinking right now. I was like, you know what? The way I see it is once you get down, you go through downtown Disney and you get to like the ESPN zone area where the stage is now. It's going to branch off and extend, a little further north and a little further south. That's going to be, continuing of downtown Disney, and the north side, which is the Disneyland side of downtown Disney. I think that's going to be heavier populated with more downtown Disney to create the Disney Springs. And then, like you said, the parking lot that's, I think it's the Simba lot that's over, or downtown Disney lot that's over by the Pixar Hotel. That's all going to be for DCA expansion. Yeah. I don't think expanding Disneyland out across across the street the way they did with Downtown Disney. I don't think that's in the cards.
Yeah, I would
think
agree.
I think they're better off, utilizing that for, more Downtown Disney, and maybe put, like a one-off type of attraction, like if they're going to attempt something like a Disney Quest again, that's where that would go, I think.
Yeah.
My thought was, based on Disneyland Forward, what they're showing, because they do want to obviously re-permit it for a theme park. If they did expand Disney over there, how great it would be for those people to leave the Disneyland Hotel and walk into the park that way, which is a possibility for them to do. But again, I think you guys are right. I think they're going to expand DCA over on the other side once they get the permits, approved. Hopefully they'll get them approved in 2025. I think it is. They're trying to get it approved by then, and then the Disneyland thing will be much, much later. They'll, and besides, the whole Disneyland Forward thing is, 20 to 40 years from now of what they like to do. So I think there's plenty of time to see what they're planning on doing, the third park.
Well, yeah, and honestly, I really think that is the best case scenario for the Disneyland Resort. And yes, we do want to see. Honestly, I do agree with you, Casual. I feel like that Disneyland it doesn't need to be touched right now for anything of that nature. Disneyland is perfect the way it is. There's enough in there. DCA needs a lot of TLC as far as an expansion goes. And honestly, if they really want to maximize the space that they have, honestly, with Damaro actually hinting that they can do it with a third gate, but he needs to kind of stop doing this what if, shoulda, coulda, woulda, and just do it. And honestly, Disneyland, I think, would really benefit for a third gate sooner than later.
Yeah, it's interesting because this is actually the first time that a Disney executive actually even hinted at a third gate. Now it's coming from Daddy Josh, so he's hinted at a lot of things. Everything is hinting, and everything is what if. But that was kind of interesting though that he did say it, like we have enough room for another Disneyland. That was interesting. Will we ever get it? I don't know.
Right, and we're assuming that he means a whole nother park, or does he mean enough room to build another Disneyland worth of so because
like
I mean when the acreage makes out basically
it's so
Disneyland.
Hard to try to understand those Josh-isms.
Yeah, exactly.
I know. Well, give him a break, George. All that hair product it seeps into
Of course, yeah. as we always say over at OG55, it's a great big beautiful Damaro.
Yeah.
Oh boy,
there he is.
All right, I think we're just about wrapped up. We do have one little item that we wanted to cover real quick here. And that was the addition of a special character.
Did you want to talk about the Disneyland Resort special ticket offers that they mentioned?
Oh, we could talk about that. Sure.
Sorry.
Sorry.
It's at the end of the blog.
Okay.
Yeah,
I didn't scroll down that far. I was already kind of checked out. I'm just kidding. So yeah, Disneyland Resort special ticket offers. It's interesting what they're doing this year because last year they did the 3-day Southern California resident ticket offer that ran from, I think it was late January till just about the end of May. And that was across the board. That was, child or adult. This year they announced the $50 per child per day, one park ticket. And I thought that was going to be where they cut it off. That was the special. Well, they just recently announced the Southern California resident ticket offer is back. And so now you can get a single day, single park ticket for as low as $75 per day. And it's good all the way through June 2nd. So you're extending into and crossing most of those little seasons that we talked about. So a lot of those special events are within that. Now, the only thing about those for the 3-day, one park per day ticket is you do still need reservations here at Disneyland, and it's only valid Monday through Thursday. So
yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, that is interesting. It's a good deal.
And you will catch the very tail end, right when Fantasmic is debuting again. you do have roughly a week and a half or so to get in there and see it with those tickets. So there's a few
Right.
days that you'll be able to get in there if it's running Monday through Thursday. We don't know if it'll be running other than weekends at this point, but there's that option.
Wow. Well, it looks like they're trying to get people in. It looks like, they're trying to either get ahead of any kind of economic, uncertainty, economic downturn, going forward. They want to get in front of it, or I don't know. I mean, it's interesting because that's pretty. I don't know. That seems kind of steep, like in terms of discounting, doesn't it? I mean, is it just me, or it seems kind of?
Yeah, that's why I thought with the child's ticket, being $50, I thought, well, that puts us at about, where the discount was last year.
Right.
But then they announced this one, and it's like, wow, you could take, a family, $150 for mom and dad, and then $50 for each of the kids. You could go $250 for 4 people.
Wow.
So that's kind of crazy when you think about
But
it.
again,
So
Monday through Thursday.
But then it makes you
Right.
wonder, like, what's going on next year? Like, are they doing that because they know they're going to have a ton of attractions down? Like, is there like something behind that? where
Well,
they're like,
that's
"Oh,
true.
right.
Yeah. I mean, we currently don't have Cosmic. We don't, Haunted Mansion is possibly going to be going, down for refurbishment for the entire year, possibly. Splash Mountain is not going to be open until the end of the year. So, yeah. And then you've got your normal refurbishments happening. So, yeah, it could just be that, they realize, if we're trying to get people in and they start realizing, hey, these attractions are all down, some of the entertainment isn't there.
Because it also ties into all these events that they just announced as well. So are these events due to the fact of not just because that they were going to have these events anyway, but this is the first time that they ever kind of released like a template of like the whole year of like events of
Right.
For months and dates. So to Cordy's point, I wonder like even if they're tying it into that where they're announcing all these events so people can kind of have themselves occupied, so to speak, because of all these rides or attractions that could possibly be down for that time frame.
True.
Yeah, and the Kingdom Report is so funny. He says, sounds like that deal about to add a whole lot of unfavorable mix. Oh, yeah, here they come. Here they come.
Oh, yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. Well, Disney did it to themselves. This is, hey, you put it out there to get the unfavorables in.
Exactly. That's funny. That's hilarious.
Just answering a quick question with Furs. Omembe is when is Mansion supposed to go down? We technically don't know. We know that it will be at the very least it'll go down for a couple of weeks in January to remove the Haunted Mansion overlay. But they did also announce that they're going to redo some of the queue area for the mansion, as well as add a gift shop at the exit. So a lot of people are assuming that once the Haunted Mansion holiday is done with, they're just going to keep Mansion closed while they do all this renovation. But we don't know that for sure.
Yeah.
So I have a quick.
Oh no! Go ahead, Cordy. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, and we can, if you just kind of, it was a totally different topic, but that's how my brain works. I was just because Brian Sevilla had brought it up. Poor Brian. He had a magic key, and he thought during Halloween season, because he's a big HHN person, so he let his magic key go because he thought for sure they're going to go back on sale. So I just wanted to see from you guys what you thought about that. If you think. When you think they're coming back?
I always, first off, I just have to say, because I've known so many people who have let their magic keys go, not even just this time around, but like sort of like when Disney was pulling those levers like on and off and what have you. But I always say to people, regardless of how you think that when they turn that switch back on of magic keys, you don't know for how long and for how many magic keys. So once you actually grasp one, despite of how you may feel about, the parks and everything, but I still say that hold on to it as long as you possibly can, because you really don't know, when. As far as like when, I don't know. Maybe it might be soon, but I do apologize. See, my dog's upset about it. That's why he's
I don't blame your dog.
But because he didn't get his magic key, so he's like, darn it. But as far as like it coming back, they may kind of hit that switch, now with all these events going on, to kind of get more butts in there, so to speak, if there's going to be a lot of downtime. And then once they know that they hit that cap of number, then they'll just switch it right back off again.
So what you're saying, George, is if you have your magic key, go ahead and renew it.
Yeah, I'm gonna get one for show. For show. I'm getting that for show.
Get it for show?
For show.
Yeah. I can't remember earlier this year. I think they went on sale again in February for a little while, and then they got, slowly, like one by one, they got turned off. Like they stopped different levels at different times.
Yeah,
but I do remember. Oh, sorry, OG.
Oh,
I was just gonna say. Go
ahead.
No, you go. No, you go. You go, brother. You go.
We're like Anna. We're like what is that? Anna and Hans. Finish each other's sandwiches or something.
Sandwiches. Yes.
No, but didn't they cut off the magic keys after the settlement? Right. I thought.
Yeah, September 11th is when they stopped.
And they haven't come back yet.
Mm-mm.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah,
okay.
but they had stopped them back and forth, for the last like year and a half or so.
Well, and I actually did get an email that I was in that group, that I will be, I'm part of that, I guess, because I did have a dream key. So once I get my $30, I'm for sure that they'll hit the switch back on for after they disperse all that out again.
Don't spend it all in one place, George.
Yeah. I'll get my 2 Dole Whips.
You're being generous, dude. $30 for 2? Are you kidding me?
Like Brian says, at this point, even if parking pass, people would buy it. Oh, yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But what I was gonna say was, even when they turned the magic keys off, wasn't there a period of time where you can still purchase any magic key at a kiosk outside of the park? Because I thought there was a time, like, I don't know, they're probably not doing it now, but like there was a point of time where you couldn't buy them online, but if you were at the park physically, that you could actually purchase a magic key. They all were available at some point at the kiosk.
I don't know about that.
I don't remember that. Yeah.
Because I think it was at the time. I'm trying to remember. I don't know. I can't remember. I think it was actually because Mindy was actually trying to get her magic key, but
that's because she was using the gift cards. That was the issue on that one.
Oh.
So.
Right.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, I was just talking with Casual Junior, and I was like, because when we got our magic keys, they sent us the little welcome package, and we got our magnet, but it was the original one with the gradient, just the colors. And I wanted the one with the little castle illustration on it. And so I was like, man, I hope we renewed in time before they released the one with the Mickey's Death Wheel illustration. I was like, I really hope that we get the castle one. And then I was thinking, that'd be a real fun way to.
Death Wheel.
Oh, you got that one?
Yeah, I got that.
I like
one.
that.
Yeah,
Okay.
Ariel and I got that one.
Well, I was thinking, it'd be really cool if they actually, had a magnet for each year. So at year 1, you always get, everybody gets this magnet. Year 2, they get this one. And then you start getting people where it's like, well, I can't give up my magic key because I'm at year 10 and I got to get year number 11 magnet. So,
exactly.
I was thinking, that would be a real crazy way to, force people to say, no, I can't let go of my magnet of my magic key because I've got to get to magnet number 15. That's the one that has my character on it that I love. And
Michael does say in the chat he actually remembers seeing the signs at the ticket booths for the magic key.
That's interesting.
Because I do remember there was a point of time, because I heard from several people that when they went online, that especially for the Inspire key, that it was completely, you could not purchase the Inspire key, but if you were physically at the parks at the ticket booth, they actually had them available for purchase.
Okay. Yeah,
Wow.
interesting.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
Yeah. Hey, Casual. So what magnet did you get?
I haven't gotten mine yet.
Oh, you haven't? Oh, okay.
Mm-mm.
Well, hopefully that's the one you're getting. I'm surprised because I renewed after you.
Well, I know that's why I'm hoping that we renewed before they switch to the Death Wheel. I want the Castle one. That's the one I want.
Yeah. Oh, well, you get the cast one. I'm gonna be upset.
Well, let's put it this way. I was looking on eBay and there's people selling them. So I'm like, all right, if I don't get it, I may have to just, bite the bullet and
Wow.
I'll have to look for
I
mine.
didn't expect
I
that from
think I have
you.
at least two.
I know it's crazy, isn't it? That's I love that little illustration though. That's the thing. But anyways. All right, moving on. We're going to go on to I think this is our last subject, but I'm not sure. We'll probably take some questions from you guys as well.
Mhm.
But Walt Disney World got an additional character added to their haunted mansion, and they told everybody by November that he would be added, and sure enough, on November 30th, he was added.
Nailed
right down
it.
to the line, right down to the wire. They got it, and they finally added the much beloved Hatbox Ghost.
Yay.
Now, it's wonderful to see it, but there, as everything with Disney, there has to be a little bit of controversy there, and people are upset with his placement within the attraction.
Guilty.
So, well, George, why don't you explain the argument against his placement?
Okay, so for me, well, there's a couple factors that run into this. The first one that it actually started out with the whole basic storyline of the original Haunted Mansion. Now, I do believe that they did this because that there was some sort of tie into the new Haunted Mansion movie. That the Hatbox Ghost is not your typical 999 happy haunt. He kind of beats to his own drum, so to speak. So he doesn't materialize after the seance room. He just kind of pops in and out when he wants to. I personally, I mean, that's not my biggest issue, but I do prefer like the traditional way, like it's after the seance room. That's when all the ghosts materialize, like how they do at Disneyland. But my biggest issue is by placing him almost in the very beginning of the attraction, that they literally have him smack dab right next to the hallway with the floating candlestick. Now, for me, I've always enjoyed looking at the finer details of looking down that hallway with the floating candlestick. No matter how many times I've been on the ride on either coast. But when you have another interest that would pique a person's eye line, that you basically have the hallway with the floating candlestick, and then right next to it is the Hatbox Ghost, and it's like it's so close. It's like, well, to be able to see those finer details, you have to either pick one or the other, or your eyes are kind of shifting back. It just seems like there's just so much that is kind of like bulked in there at once, and I just feel like it's a little bit of an eyesore. Now, as I said, I might be nitpicking because, as I said, I'm a Disney fanatic type of thing, but I just feel like they just kind of just picked the spot and just said, you know what, just throw him in there. We're giving people the Hatbox Ghost at Walt Disney World's Haunted Mansion and be done with it.
Now, George, I want to ask you, because I've only been on this version one time with you, right? And I'm more of a Disneylander, so I have more emotional investment in the Disneyland version. But would you be okay as a Florida guy if they put him in, like, because you have the hallway, right?
Mm-hmm.
If they took away the floating candles and then put him in the hallway, like he's in the hallway, like part of that scene, so your eyes aren't doing this.
Okay, so actually, that's interesting. Now, I know a lot of people would be as an uproar because of the floating candle, but maybe if they was to do sort of like a combined, so sort of like where they have an illusion where you see the floating candlestick at first, and then it just kind of disappears, and then out pops the Hatbox Ghost.
That'd be
Like
cool.
that would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Because essentially you have this long hallway, and then you see this kind of like shadow-like figure like in the distance. To me, I think that's actually gives it a little bit more of an edge than him just kind of just standing there.
I agree. I like that. But here's the problem. And I have this problem when I'm at Disneyland. So when you go by the Hatbox Ghost, sometimes you barely get to see his face going from his head to the Hatbox, right? So and it's not like you're going super fast, but it's fast enough that you barely get to see that sometimes unless the ride stops, and then you get to see it all the time. So if they had that down the hallway with the candelabra, that would be a cool effect. I just don't think they could change it fast enough.
Well, here's the thing, Bob. I think honestly that's not really the ride itself. I think honestly Disney should kind of tweak the timing actually on the audio animatronic itself. I think they waited out just too long. Even for Disneyland's, I do agree with you. There's times where it's like we're passing by and it's like, okay, I'm waiting. Is it going to change? And then it's like you turn the corner, it's like, oh, I didn't even see it. Because I would love to see his face like on his body, then it goes into the hat box and then back onto. I want to see the full immersive thing where the face is on, off, and then on again. So I think honestly, if they was to change the time frame actually on the audio animatronic itself, I think it would benefit no matter where you place him, and I think that comes from the audio animatronic itself.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, it's interesting.
But I mean, if honestly, if I would have just preferred if they just kind of that's the one time I would say just carbon copy it, just like Disneyland, and place him right outside of the attic.
Yeah, why didn't they? I'm curious. Did they say why they couldn't do that or didn't do that? Is it just, oh, well, we don't want it to be like Disneyland, or?
As far as I know, I think that was just the case. They just wanted to kind of have that mystery of saying, oh, we're putting the Hatbox Ghost in Walt Disney World's Haunted Mansion, but it's not going to be in the place you think it is. So it was kind of like that mystery of, but me personally, I couldn't care less. I don't need no mystery. Just tell me where the hell you're going to put the damn thing and let it be that, But,
yeah, sometimes just to do it, like it, you got to find the right spot for it, Yeah. But like you were saying, George, though, right? Like there's a tie. I haven't seen the movie, but there's a tie to the movie, I guess.
That's what they're saying. Yeah, that they're saying it's a tie to the movie only because he shows himself before the other ghosts materialize. So in the movie, it's like he, as I said, he beats to his own drum where he doesn't really follow the other haunts in the mansion.
That's probably the justification for it, is that movie, I bet.
Of course, they built a door there right next to him, and they don't explain that either.
Yeah, that is kind of weird, huh?
Yeah, I don't know if like that's the doorway, like his passageway of like just to kind of give the notion like he could just pop in and out whenever he wants. I would have actually loved to have them have him behind the door, and then as you're passing, have the door open itself, and then boom, there he is.
That'd be cool.
I don't know.
Kind of cool. Yeah, but that's a lot happening in as you're just moving by. If we're already trying to, we don't get to see the head move from one to the other. We want the door to open and all that.
Well, as I said, if they were to do that, as I said, not with the hallway, that placement there, regardless, that's not the best place that they could have put. And they place them right in the very beginning of the ride. It's like, I like the anticipation of saying, ooh, we're going to see the Hatbox Ghost. And then it's like 5 seconds later, oh, there he is. Oh, there we go. We're gone.
Well, and that's the beauty of the Haunted Mansion is the buildup. Like
I was just going to say that's part of what makes the mansion so cool is that just like Pirates, you don't get to see everything right away.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They're really good at pacing you through this and building up the tension and the anticipation for something.
What I would have loved to have seen, like if they really wanted to tie it to the movie, but again, this is just me, rather than just have one Hatbox Ghost, kind of have him kind of popping up all over the mansion, not just in one spot. So it's like you kind of have to find out where he's going to be next. So he's like not in like his same position where he's just standing holding, the hat box.
Yeah.
He could be like above you, or he could be beside you. He could be,
or his head shows up in different, in like some sort of lantern or something that's sitting there. It's like all of a sudden it shows up here, and out in the graveyard, and it shows up somewhere over there, and so you kind of get the idea that this this ghost is a wily little character.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. I like that. That's interesting.
What do you think, Cordy?
Oh no, I love that. That's a great idea. That would have been, especially because they were, starting from nothing and then adding.
Well, yeah, they obviously were creating the lore of this character, when they installed him, so they could have done whatever they wanted at that point.
Exactly.
Which I still say I like the placement at Disneyland better, just because of that. You're going through this mansion and everything just keeps getting creepier and creepier and creepier as you're going. You're just in that constant state of what the heck am I going to see next? And then finally there's all the ghosts start materializing. And that I think is part of how that ride works so well, is that pacing and slow reveal.
Yeah.
Now we do have some video to show you guys if you guys want to see what it looks like in action real quick.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
All right. Give me 1 second to get the screen up.
Somebody was excited.
Yes, no one was excited. Yeah, but even then, did you notice that you really didn't get to see his head? It went back to his head, but then it didn't go to the hat box by the time the car went by. And you could, I did look real quick at the candle in the background, but yeah, it kind of takes away from the candle in the hallway. So, I mean, don't get me wrong, I love the hat box ghost. I think he's really cool and he's a great addition. Yeah. I'm still with the group that I don't think it was placed in the right area, or he was placed in the right area. But regardless, I'm glad to see that they finally added him.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it just wasn't the best spot for it. It's
like they took like how long just to even install them, and it's like that's where they place them.
I know it took forever. It seemed like. So.
All right. So I think that covers everything that we wanted to talk about. Did I miss anything, guys?
Well, I was just going to say that, we have 2 weeks left of Magic Keys.
You had to remind us.
I know. We have to keep it top of mind, so we're like on our game when we go to the park. But I just wanted to give props to DCA and Festival of Holidays, because if you're looking for entertainment during the season, I think DCA pretty much knocks it out of the park with what they have there. The food, I was like, it wasn't as good as last year. Still some good offerings, but the entertainment, just not only Fat Cat Swingers, right? Everybody knows who they are. They're like the big draw, but and I haven't seen the other band. It's Tina. I can't remember the name of the band. But over Paradise Grill, they have. I think I'll just end up posting it, but I think it's Wayu. They're a Colombian band that perform on the stage at Paradise Garden Grill area. They were wonderful. So you get to have your meal, watch a show. And then right after that, the Viva Navidad starts right behind you. So it's just like everywhere you go, there's something. Mostly kosher, I think, is probably my favorite of all of it. But they're amazing. And then they have the dance troupe, Dance 13. So I think it's just and the cavalcade.
Yeah.
They do the little Mickey's. I don't even remember what they call holiday thing or whatever, and they kind of go down the parade corridor, right?
Yeah. So it's I just think that it's going all day. I wish it ran a little later, but I guess once World of Color starts, they pretty much shut all the other things down. But
They do.
I think they do a great job of keeping us entertained over there because you don't get that much of it over at Disneyland. So
Cordy, you're right. I love the bands over there at the Paradise Garden Grill. I would like, I'm really surprised that DCA doesn't have a Latin inspired like land by now, because I think that would absolutely crush. Like whether it's Coco or whatever, I think I would absolutely crush in that park. It makes sense in that park, and I just think with the musical bands, you could have like little like food carts and stuff, and make it feel like really authentic. I think it'd be really dope. Go ahead, George. I'm sorry, Rose.
No, I was just going to say, yeah, they constantly talk about, adding, Coco and Encanto to Animal Kingdom, which okay, but it's like, I mean, DCA, I mean, I think that would be the route to go, because I mean, as you said, OG, it fits that culture. It's
California.
Yeah.
That's probably what they're going to do for Disneyland Forward. Oop.
That's true. Probably.
yeah.
And I'm sorry, I'm probably in the minority here. As I said, I still say that the building where the Little Mermaid ride is, put Coco in there because it's adjacent right to Pixar Pier. I'm not saying get rid of the Little Mermaid altogether, folks. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it just doesn't fit the placement where what they're trying to accomplish with that whole section being Pixar Pier. You could literally take that area back to Paradise Gardens, and that could literally just be all of Coco.
Yeah.
True. Well, before we let everyone go, let's do some Q&A. And by the way, thank you so much to everyone, because everyone's saying what a great show we had tonight and enjoyed the insights. But let's do some Q&A with everyone and see if there's any questions out there. So if you have any questions, let's throw it into the chat and see.
I did see a couple of there. We had Adventures with Paul, question 1 for the Fantasmic scene in Peter Pan. Do you think the crocodile will be there? And then question number 2, do you think Oogie Boogie tickets won't sell out like before because of resellers?
I'm with Bob on this. The croc needs to return into Fantasmic. It needs to return. And I would be lying if I said I wasn't worried about that. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I could see them getting rid of it and replacing it with some new effect or something like that. I hope that's not the case. I love that. I love that little croc or big croc.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really hope he comes back. And it's weird because it's like those little things. He doesn't do much.
Yeah.
But when you see him cruise by, it's like, oh, that's so fun. It's just one of those things that just adds to the show strangely so much,
Yeah.
And for the people who believe he's not coming back, that's such a crock.
Okay, and then what do you guys think about Oogie Boogie tickets? Do you think people are getting tired of Oogie Boogie? Do you think
I think honestly, as each year goes by, it's going to be more and more difficult to get tickets.
Yeah,
I think so too.
Because I've been to every single Oogie Boogie, and each time it gets more and more difficult. I mean, this last time I didn't have no issues because I didn't actually have to physically buy the tickets, but the times that I did, it was a nightmare. Like I was in the queue for like well over 4 hours, and I think this was last year's Oogie Boogie. So I think they're going to keep on adding new villains, new treat trails, new activities that I just think that the demand for it is just going to keep going, because I remember we were waiting for the parade, OG and I, and it literally, he actually brought it to my attention. He said, if you look at DCA right now, it looks like a normal regular park day. You would never think it was a after hours event.
Yeah, because every person had to buy a ticket to get into that thing, and it was packed. You know?
Well, yeah, they every night sells out. So
yeah,
crazy.
Servers crashed. King Report asks, with all the new development popping up around it, what the heck should happen to the ESPN zone in downtown Disney?
I would, Kingdom Report, I would bulldoze it. I would bulldoze it and start from scratch and utilize. That's a lot of room right there. You could probably get a couple of different things put in that spot. Look at all the room that and I know that ESPN obviously isn't as big as the AMC was, but look what they were able to do once they bulldozed the AMC. I would like them to bulldoze ESPN and honestly, even Rainforest Cafe. If it's not going to be the Rainforest Cafe, I don't really want them to like Spirit of Halloween it, basically, where they're like just like
Yeah, for Star Wars.
You know what I'm saying? It just doesn't look right. I would bulldoze both of those, and then you can have a whole new section back there. You can put multiple different venues, different things out there. That's what I would do personally, but we'll see. They're still sitting there.
I kind of wish that they would bring something back of like a Disney Quest. I mean, I know it would be more of an up-to-date version, obviously, because technology has advanced so much since the original. But a lot of people say, with Disney Quest that was in the original Downtown Disney before it became Disney Springs, it was a success. I actually enjoyed it. You had 5 floors of just like different kinds of interactive type of fun. And what better way to kind of utilize, the newer technology where you can maybe use something like of a black box type of technology to kind of utilize that as like a separate interactive experience to purchase a ticket. I would go the opposite way. They took out our Disney Quest for that freaking NBA experience, so why not take out ESPN and put in a newer Disney Quest? Reverse it.
Well, you know what
it's like George Lucas poetry. It rhymes.
Yeah. what they could do is take ESPN Zone and repurpose it for the cast member training and leave the Beast Library open for guests.
There you go, casual. That's how you do it.
Yeah.
There you go.
So Michael and Kaylee kind of have a similar question. Do you guys think the After Dark events need more offerings? And then Kaylee says, let me go down to it. Sorry, where'd it go? Oh, I lost it there. What ideas could you have for future After Dark events they have not done yet? So there's a twofer question right there on the same topic. Personally, I don't know about you guys, but I think they need to offer a lot more for the After Dark events because you are spending as much money as a one-day ticket or more for an event that's only 4 to 6 hours long. I mean, depending on where you are on the East Coast or West Coast. And to me, it's kind of ridiculous. And I don't know that they're really offering that much more. I know they have some different types of foods and parades and maybe a fireworks show, but I don't know. I honestly feel like they need to do more.
Yeah, I've never done one. I've never been inclined to really even do one. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, you would have to really honestly, what would get me in there? If you do the Muppets After Dark, just Muppify the whole park.
There we go. That answers Kaylee's question.
Wow.
Muppets.
That's what I would do.
That'd be a Pigs in Space Mountain situation.
Oh, totally casual. I would love that.
Could you imagine that?
Oh,
that would be hilarious.
Yeah, that's
like
actually,
that,
wow. Yeah. Muppet theme.
You could do Muppet Haunted Mansion. You could do Muppet Pirate.
Yeah.
But see, I think that's a great idea for that. But again, going back to Michael's question is, do they need to do more stuff during these things? And from what I see, it's you can buy some food, you can buy some merch, maybe a parade or the fireworks show if it doesn't get canceled. Other than that, it's photo ops.
And this is where for me, and I touched upon this on OG55, that I think they incorporate too much of consumer products mixed into the parks, because that's where it is spearheaded with all these events, that it's like, yeah, put out an arm and a leg for a ticket just to buy merch or food offerings. I feel like that's where it's like it's headlined, that it's like, okay, it's parks, products and experiences. It's like, can you have both? Yes, you obviously you have to, but it's like, does that have to be the main focus where it's shoved down your throat everywhere you turn when you pay almost $200 for one ticket? It's like, can we get some immersive experiences? That is why we're going to the park in the first place.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, can I tell you, here's my take on the whole After Dark event. So my advice to people are, if you don't have a Magic Key, these are the best events this is where your money's most well spent, because you get the event, but then you also get the low wait times for attractions. So that's a big deal. Like for my daughter, she's like, but she likes the fact that there's no wait times. So because 2 of my kids don't have Magic Keys anymore. And that's what I keep telling them. Next year, I think if you just want to go once or twice a year, that's probably a really good option because you're getting, you're spending the same as what it could be possibly for a ticket, right? Depending on the time of year. And then I think the other piece of it is, there are a lot of photo ops, but just some of the circles of people that I know, that is the draw. They are going there like to take the pictures in front of, with the car, with the old, the classic.
They're
Disney
doing it for the gram.
So that's like the whole reason that they're going, and to say they went, and you share it on social media. So I think that's a really huge draw where I totally get what what we're talking about here, because I see that side, but then I'm like, I hear a lot.
And I do see your point, Cordy, because that is the way today, like with social media and everything. And Disney knows this. So it's like, why not capitalize on it? It's like, if people are willing to pay the money just for that Instagram shot, it's like, why not? And honestly, I don't blame Disney, because at the end of the day, they just they want to make that dough.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Marty, I see that you went to 90s Night. I'm actually really, really jealous, but you say it was 4 hours too short. I feel like that's what a lot of these after hours events, because there was a lot of backlash even with the Jollywood nights down at Hollywood Studios. That they're saying there's actually a lot to do, that they incorporated that, but it's not enough time. So it's just, I guess, just trying to find that balance. I mean, me personally, if Disneyland was going to do like a type of event, I would do it like heavily like Pixar themed, where they have like a Pixar fireworks show. And oh wait, never mind.
Hey, we've got a few more questions. I got an email from Daryl Chin. He said, he's got 2 questions. What's your favorite pirate from the Pirates of the Caribbean ride? I guess we can answer that one first. So who's your favorite character, everyone?
Oh, that's interesting.
Mine used to be Red.
Yeah.
Used to be red.
Now she talks, so I don't like her.
Oh.
Now she's-
Hey-oh.
Chat, let the chat. Come on, guys.
Send your hate mail to theme park casual at
Casual, bringing on the spices.
Oh yeah.
You're not flying casual there. George has to think about that one.
I like the answers popping up.
I let's see. I don't know. Carlos, don't be cheek and
That is the classic right there.
I like the guy that's sitting next to the barrel. But before, back in the olden days, it used to be a woman in there. Now it's Jack Sparrow.
Oh yeah.
But I like the dude next to that barrel. I think he's pretty cool.
The guy, or the pirate with the cats, always was a good one for me. But I have to say, I like the pirate that turns from a skeleton into a human as you're going into the past. That's kind of cool.
Yeah,
that's cool. Nice.
What about you, Cordy?
Well, just because we have fun with it in the chat is well, now I need Mike to put the name that he made up, but the Dirty Foot, even though it's not dirty anymore, but
Oh yeah, good old Stinkfoot.
Yep, Stinkfoot.
I think it's Mr. What is it? Mr. Harry Toe Jam is what.
Harry Toe Jam. You guys remember that? You guys remember that old game on Sega Genesis, Toe Jam and Earl? You guys remember
Earl,
that?
Toe Jam,
I used to have that game. I used to love that
definitely.
game.
And then Daryl's second question was, does anyone know when the Country Bear Jamboree attraction at Disney World will be changed?
Oh, did they tell us that, George, at the when they announced it recently?
I thought it was supposed to be next year sometime,
Yeah,
but I don't know exactly when.
I don't know if they
remember
gave
an
a
exact
specific
date.
date.
but good question.
Yeah.
So Zoembies asks, do you think that Murphy will be back, and will it breathe fire?
That's the $1 million question.
Yeah,
Zamindis.
He's definitely coming back.
Yeah.
Right.
Just
Did you see
obviously-
though? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there, George.
No, you're good. No, I was just going to say he's definitely coming back, just doesn't know when. But yeah, to OG's statement, the $1 million question isn't is he coming back? It's will he breathe the fire again?
Right.
That's the
Well, yeah. Well, so I read something where they said that the new ending is going to have Maleficent against Mickey, but not in dragon form. She won't be. So
That's interesting.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, good question. And then I think Dragon Blood HD had a question. He said, any special Christmas events coming, like, for instance, the Merriest Nights or something like that?
Not this year.
No,
They may try to reinstate them next year, but this year I think some people were looking forward to it. Some people really like that event, and I think if they were able to kind of massage it into something that works a little bit better, because I think it did kind of fall flat in some spots, but it did have some high points, like the Muppets going through on the bus was just massive hit. It was like the thing to see that night. So I think if they were smart, they would tweak it and give you kind of a Christmas style Oogie Boogie Bash.
Yeah.
And if they did something like that,
kind of going back to
pull it
OG's point, just with the Muppets, I think honestly the Muppets right now are so underrated, and Disney is just kind of like not even really noticing how popular they really are. That people literally go crazy. Even like when I was at the D23 Expo, when they were doing the anniversary for the Muppet Christmas Carol, like that thing was like so hyped up that people were saying they would have rather have gone to that than to the parks panel. Like that's how popular it is. And it's just like they need, and Disney should be hearing this, because it's like they need more Muppets. I would love to see more Muppets incorporated in the parks. I would love to see the Muppets have their own event, as OG had mentioned it. I'd love to see them even be incorporated into an event where even it could be Halloween themed or Christmas themed, but just more Muppets. That's all we need.
The problem I see with the Muppets is you have to have the perfect writers, people that understand the Muppets.
The actual Muppets, correct.
Yeah,
exactly.
Because the Muppets were always edgy.
Yeah.
They always push that line. There was always those moments where you were just like, did they really say that? Oh my God, we used to watch this when we were kids. And if you're not allowed to get right up on that line, the Muppets aren't going to work the right way.
Right.
They can't be restrained. They have to be on a level that is a little bit edgier than where Disney likes to go most of the time.
Sure. They're kind of like the like a lot of the Warner Brothers characters, like Animaniacs, things like that. Where it's
and like I was saying, the writing has to be good, because the Muppets were not just silly humor; they were extremely smart.
Yeah,
they were like they were like Marx Brothers, and if you weren't quick witted, the jokes were passing you right by, and you'd be kind of like, why is everybody laughing? So it's the writing, and I just don't know. I don't know if there's people that understand the Muppets well enough in the Disney organization right now. There's probably a few of them, but they're probably not given free reign to go and do what they need to do with the Muppets. And
it's weird too. Now they're like, it's part of Imagineering, which is kind of strange. Like I kind of see the mindset, because they're puppets or they're Muppets, and they're kind of like the sister. It's like sister tech of an animatronic, sort of. So I can kind of see the mindset of like, okay, we'll fold them into Imagineering, but at the same time, it's still kind of weird.
Well, it's like they even incorporated them at the Destination D, and it's like we're all waiting to say, okay, they're going to make some major Muppet announcement, and they did absolutely nothing. It was like, so it's nice that they're using the Muppets, but they're not using them to their full potential.
Right.
Well, and I think I found our last question for the night, and it's this one from Slimer. Last question. TPC. Why do you look so good with the mustache?
For crying out loud, Slimer. I think I look ridiculous. I'm doing this as a gag almost. It's like Like I said, I've told everybody on my street. I said, Mrs. Casual thinks I look ridiculous. So,
we all know what Casual's Halloween costume is going to be for next year. It's going to be Snidely Whiplash.
Oh, that's hilarious.
I tell you, if you wore George's glasses, you would be so Top Gun right now. Casual, like so.
Oh God, it's funny because I way back when I put on aviators and Mrs. Casual, she's all, you look like Plastic Man.
Plastic Man.
And I was like, all right, I can't see myself in the aviators ever again. So I'll always feel like I just look like Plastic Man. So those are out.
I see. Was it Nanette? Said she didn't get her question answered, but Nanette, I don't see your question. Where'd it go? Did I miss it? Put it in the chat real quick.
Are you still there?
About Dragon Brew? I don't know. Maybe Nanette's not back. I don't know. Well, there's always next time.
Whose chat is she in? I don't see her in mine.
She's in mine.
Oh. I don't see a question.
This is when we need Jeopardy song. Yeah, I don't see one either.
Oh, what's going on in place of the Lion King show?
Oh,
they have not announced anything.
The Lion King show, as in the Fantasyland Theater.
Yeah, I was going to say
a bulldozer.
Apparently this panel would just like to see the whole theater bulldoze. So, as far as these people are concerned, nothing should go in there.
A Fantasyland expansion.
Yeah. So they have not announced anything for the Fantasyland Theater at this point. So we shall see.
Yep.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. This was another fantastic discussion with our very special guests, Orange Grove 55 and George the Italiano. So,
although I wanted to call him the Terminator at the beginning of the live stream.
So with that, before we say goodbye to everybody, George, would you let everybody know where they can find you on social media?
Absolutely. You can find me on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Disney George. You could also find me on Instagram under the Disney Italiano. And of course, you'll find me on Orange Grove 55 with Citrus Corner with all that sweet, juicy... Jeez, I always mess it up. I don't know why. I almost had it. I almost had it.
Sticky sweet part.
Yes, with that sweet, juicy, but sometimes sticky Disney news. And
well, George, it's like 1 a.m. over there, so you're forgetting.
Yeah, I was gonna let you go. You should have been in bed a couple hours ago.
But with whether it's on OG 55, whether it's over here with these guys, all I have to just say is, I'll be back.
There you go. That's great.
Awesome. And definitely we would love to have you back sometime. And your compatriot? Is that the word? your paisano over here with on YouTube. We have Orange Grove 55. Would you let everybody know where they can find you?
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much guys and Cordy. Thank you so much for having us on today. It was a lot of fun talking parks with all of you. You could find me and George the Italiano at Orange Grove 55 on YouTube, where we talk all about theme parks, but we also dive into the studio, like the MCU, Star Wars, all that good stuff. We even dive into the juicy corporate world, talk about the Bob Iger tea and all that, right? So we dive into a lot of different stuff over there. So check us out. You can also find me on Twitter at Orange Grove 55 and on Instagram, Orange Grove 55.
When are you guys? Ooh, I like that. When are you guys broadcasting again?
Oh, well, we might do it. We're thinking Friday, maybe, right, George? Like a live show.
Friday, would probably be our live show.
Yep.
All right. Make sure you guys head over to Orange Grove 55 and subscribe to them so you know when they are dropping a new video or going live. And thank you guys. Like I said, you guys were the ones that gave me my start here on YouTube. So finally being able to kind of pay back the favor that you did for me, having you guys on, on a panel show like this. I appreciate you guys coming on. And just
Always,
wanna say
but
thank you again.
a residual check would be nice. You know.
Yeah. It is in the mail.
There we go.
Stickers are in the mail.
Yeah, exactly. And we
No,
also
but
have
honestly, but
okay.
really quick, casual. I just honestly have to say, but we are very happy for you, as far as how you grew your channel and everything, and watching you literally go from nothing to what you have built, and just kudos to you, honestly, because you do a lot of hard work, especially watching you, in the parks and everything, and doing what you do, and being able to be there at times, watching you do your thing, and Bob, when you guys are like live for like 15 hours straight, and it's like I gotta give it to you guys. It's phenomenal. And I even got to hang out with Cordy a little bit. We got to ride our final Splash Mountain. Yes.
That's
So
right.
it was, it's great what you guys do, and I applaud you on that.
Well, thank you. And I have to say thank you to my regular co-hosts, Cordy and Bob. They've been a tremendous help to me. So Cordy, thank you. Bob, thank you. And Cordy, would you let everybody know where they can find you on social media?
Of course, Cordy in California on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. I'm stopping there.
Okay.
When are you streaming again?
When are you going to be back in the parks?
Wednesday.
Wednesday. Okay.
Cool.
All right. And Bob, where can everybody find you?
So you can find me on YouTube, X, Instagram, and TikTok at BarryPlace28. And I will be streaming tomorrow. I'll be doing my Christmas decorations. You guys love my Halloween decorations so much. I'm going to do a Christmas decoration. It's not as lavish as my Halloween decorations, but you guys wanted it. So I'm doing a live stream tomorrow night from my home. And then I'll be back in the parks on Wednesday with Theme Park Casual. And then hopefully on Sunday with Theme Park Casual and friends over at Knott's Berry Farm.
Well, after you're finished there, you could fly over. You could finish up some of my decorations.
Sure, no problem. I'd love to do that,
All right, guys. Thanks again to my incredible panel and co-hosts. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out. Thank you for the questions. What's that?
Talk about you. Where we can find you, and when you're going to stream
you
next.
guys. You can find me on Theme Park Casual on YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram. I will be in the parks on Wednesday, God willing, hanging out with my buddy Bob and Cordy. And again, I was on Sunday over at Knott's Merry Farm for more of their Christmas festivities. But with that, thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight. We had a great time. Thank you again to our guests, George and OG. Thank you to my co-hosts, Bob and Cordy. And so until next time, kids, we will see you all later.